Skinny Hardaway SouthernTea back with another EP. And y'all do your boy a favor as you roll on in. Hit that like button for your boy. We're here for a good time. Got a long time this morning. Appreciate everybody that came through this weekend. For the Devin Haney Cambosis fight. Cool Boy Fortin, Daniel Roman fight. Appreciate you. It was we had a successful weekend this weekend. Also having this weekend we had Kenichi Ogawa. We had Kenichi Ogawa fight Joe Cordina. You know what I mean? Joe Cordina is currently he's currently the 130-pound IBF champion of the world. That's the same division that Shakur Stevenson, campaigns at. 130-pound division. Joe Cordina is coming off an impressive knockout of then champion Kenichiwa Ogawa. Second round knockout. He had a first round in where Joe Cordina, you could even say Joe Cordina lost the first round. You know what I mean? We had a second round where you could very well say that Joe Cordina lost, but he came out that third round. And he timed up. What's good, D-Free? Appreciate you sliding through this young D-Free, big slugger. Y'all do your boy a favor, hit that like button when you come in. He timed in the second round, he timed Ogawa, and he ended up, putting Ogawa out of there. Did Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina is a guy. Following this week, I picked Ogawa, but I didn't have high confidence on it. I knew Cordina, was a problem. He is still a problem. He's a good boxer, a masterful boxer with, a good amount of power. He's a good boxer with a good amount of power to go along with his boxing. You know what I mean? So he does pose, threats to the 130-pound division. We got Shakur Stevenson coming out what would be his biggest win, over Oscar Valdez. 12-round undisputed. I say undisputed. 12-round unanimous decision over Oscar Valdez. Did Shakur Stevenson get? Both of these guys were supposed to be tested in their last fight. Both these guys were supposed to run into a bit of a roadblock in their last fight. Did Joe Cordina and Shakur Stevenson, but Joe Cordina passed his with flying colors. He now moved up to 15-0 with 9 knockouts. You know what I mean? I think Shakur Stevenson has 18 fights with 9 knockouts. You know what I mean? So both guys, are under 20 fights. Both guys are undefeated. Both guys are undefeated fighters. And both guys are current title holders in their division. Shakur Stevenson has the WBC and the WBO belts. Joe Cordina just won the IBF belt, off of Ogawa. And Eddie Hearn, who was the promoter of Joe Cordina. Now, I don't know how true this is. I don't know if y'all do your boy favor, y'all roll on in, hit that like button for your boy. Now, I don't know how true this is. I don't know if Eddie Hearn is just trying to sell a fight, or if Eddie Hearn is really, means what he says in this particular situation. But he said that they are open to a fight with Shakur Stevenson, and I spelled Stevenson wrong. Steve, I left the N out. He said that they are open to a fight with Shakur Stevenson ASAP. You know what I mean? Now, he didn't necessarily say next, but he did. Actually, he did say next, but I know that Joe Cordina has a mandatory that he has to uphold with the IBF. I know how the IBF works, so they'll be calling a mandatory. They'll be calling a mandatory, for him sooner than later. You know what I mean? Joe Cordina. You know what I mean? So I know that fight may not be able to happen next, but it very well could happen. And it actually could happen next because Eddie Hearn straight up said that Eddie Hearn straight up said that that's a fight that we want to pursue next. You know what I mean? The Eddie Hearn said. I personally don't think that it'll happen next, given the situation and the circumstances and all that shit. I just with these days, when these, when especially with promoting, especially with a guy like Eddie Hearn, when he says something, you kind of got to take it, with a grain of salt until it actually happens. I'm done letting these, fighters and promoters get me excited about fights that's happening, fights that may happen, telling me fights gonna happen next, and then they never happen. So if we could get this fight to go down next, I think that'll be a great, a great fucking thing. I think it'd be good for boxing, good for the division, and also good for Shakur Stevenson, himself. If you watch the fight over the weekend, you know what I mean? Everybody, and I'm pretty sure we all got our questions about, everybody, you know what I mean? But if you watch the fight over the weekend with Joe Cordina, I think it's hard for you to come away unimpressed. Now, some people just hard to impress, period. Some people are never happy. Trust me, I see a lot of people in boxing who just never happy. Like, no matter what fight, they get, they just never go be happy, not impressed with anything. But on average, most people this weekend came back impressed from that Joe Cordina, you know what I mean, fight. I was impressed as well because, for one, I picked him to lose. Now, I know this fight could have went either way. Even when I made my prediction, I said I'm not really high on this because both guys very well could win this fight. You know what I mean? I was impressed with Cordina. I was impressed with his ability to figure out, Ogawa. Ogawa is the guy, he doesn't have ultra head movement, but, he's a tough guy. You know what I mean? I expected, at least this fight to go 12 rounds from each side. And if somebody did get sparked out or get bounced out like that, I expected it to be Joe Cordina, if somebody was going to get sparked out. You know what I mean? But Joe Cordina ended up sparking out Ogawa. You know what I mean? He ended up sparking out Ogawa. So that was a pleasant surprise over the weekend. And the first thing that came to my mind after the fight was Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina gonna be a hell of a fight. And then Eddie Hearn obliged me. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearn said in the post-fight interview that their side is open to fighting Shakur Stevenson in a unification fight. So I just think that, that's something that we should be on the lookout. It makes sense. Some people want Shakur to go up. I'm not really one of those people. I'm one of those people who want Shakur to unify the division completely, to get his undisputed chance. I want Shakur to, stay at 130 until he could get these belts. He already got two. You know what I mean? Now we got Eddie Hearn and Joe Cordina saying they're open, to a second fight. So I think, there's something to be on the lookout for, as far as the 130-pound division goes. For my Shakur Stevenson fans, you know what I mean? It's something to be on the lookout for. Eddie Hearn already said he on board. So, we'll wait and see on that. But that's all I got. Skin the hard way, SouthernTea. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But it's the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.